Elite assassin Duncan Visla is on the edge of turning 50, and he visits his doctor for a routine checkup.
Okay, lie down on your side, please. Okay. And exhale. We're done.
Even though he is in excellent physical condition, his body tells a different story, covered in scars and filled with metal fragments from years of violent missions. The doctor finds no serious health issues, except for his smoking habit. Duncan is known as the Black Kaiser, a legendary assassin working for a company called Damocles, which forces all its operatives to retire at the age of 50. While making a donation of $200,000 to an unknown recipient, Duncan's personal accountant reminds him that in just 14 days, on his 50th birthday, he will receive a pension of $8 million from the company. At the same time in Chile, another assassin named Michael Green, who is also close to retirement, is enjoying his final days. Unlike Duncan, Michael is celebrating wildly with a woman named Cindy, indulging in chemicals and pleasure.
Hello again, Cindy, baby.
Oh, yeah.
13.
So strong.
Oh, these hips don't lie. Like that?
I love it. Come here. It's blow time, mister.
Is that an order? Be my guest.
However, in the middle of his heavenly moment, he is suddenly shot by a sniper. It is revealed that Cindy is part of a specialist assassination team that includes Facundo, Hilda, Carl, and Alexei, all sent to eliminate him. After finishing the job, they leave the scene without hesitation.
Why?
You got old, Michael. Not that old after all.
My name is Sid, and today we recap the 2019 movie Polar. Please consider supporting this channel before we jump into the best part. After Michael's funeral, Duncan meets Vivian, a former assassin who now handles assignments for Damocles. She tells him that the company has given him one final mission before retirement, claiming it is a revenge job targeting the people responsible for Michael's death. However, instead of naming the actual team, she points him toward a Mexican assassin hiding in Belarus. To convince him, she offers a payment of $1 million for completing the job. Duncan does not respond and simply leaves the restaurant with the documents. Back in his home in Triple Oak, Montana, he receives multiple messages through the Damocles network. To avoid being tracked, he carefully switches SIM cards while contacting Vivian. She raises the offer to $2 million, with half paid up front and the rest after the mission. Duncan remains unsure but finally tells her to upload the mission details to the server. Soon after, Vivian meets with the boss of Damocles, Mr. Blute, to approve the payment. It becomes clear that Blute is planning to sell the company, and to increase its value, he has been secretly eliminating retiring assassins to reclaim their pension funds through a contract clause. He has no intention of paying anyone after retirement. Duncan, who is due to receive the largest payout, is now part of that plan. The mission in Belarus is meant to set him up and get him killed.
Just talking to the Black Kaiser makes you nervous. This is a bad idea.
Spare me the lecture, unless you have a better way of putting him in our crosshairs and saving me $8 million. So shut the fuck up!
And let's go with my plan and send him to Belarus to die.
Meanwhile, Duncan quietly begins investigating his supposed target on his own. After gathering enough information, he travels to Belarus without informing Vivian. He disguises himself as a maintenance worker and enters the target's hotel under the pretense of fixing a door. He deliberately makes noise to annoy the fat Mexican target next door, forcing him to come out.
¡Ese pinche ruido! ¡Es ese pinche ruido!
As soon as the opportunity appears, Duncan attacks and pins him to the wall. After dealing with several armed men inside the room, Duncan comes across a file that contains detailed information about himself. At that moment, he realizes the entire mission was a setup meant to lure him into a trap. He grabs an electric drill and tries to force answers out of the man, hoping to learn who is behind the plan, but the man has no useful information. Duncan finishes the job, takes a photo of the body, and then contacts Vivian, telling her that he accepts the mission. Once he receives the $1 million advance payment, Duncan immediately sends her the photo as proof and demands the remaining payment within 24 hours. Vivian, now nervous, rushes to meet Blute and informs him that Duncan has already completed the mission and is asking for the rest of the money. She insists that they should pay him everything, including his pension, warning that he will not let this go. Blute agrees to send the remaining payment but refuses to release the pension. Instead, he orders the specialist team to eliminate Duncan before he can claim it. After completing the mission, Duncan returns to his quiet life in Montana, but he is constantly disturbed by memories of a past operation that went terribly wrong. As he tries to settle into a normal routine, he notices a new neighbor named Camille who has just moved in next door. He begins to see her often at a nearby convenience store and local restaurants. From the way she behaves, it is clear that she is struggling, as she seems anxious and easily startled by even small noises. Over time, the two start spending more time together and slowly build a connection.
Well, I'm not working anymore.
What was your job?
I was in the funeral business.
How many countries have you been to?
99.
Do you speak any languages?
8.
Duncan tries to help her in his own way, even going as far as buying her a gun and attempting to teach her how to use it. However, when the moment comes, Camille is unable to pull the trigger and becomes visibly shaken, suggesting that something from her past still deeply affects her. At the same time, the specialist team begins tracking Duncan's location. They capture his personal accountant and force him to reveal information about Duncan's properties. The accountant hands over files listing 4 different properties owned by Duncan across different states. But since he does not know Duncan's current residence, the team kills him anyway. They then travel to each location one by one, searching for Duncan. Their first stop is in Florida.
Hello? Hi there.
Come in. I've been expecting you. Do you want a drink before we get started?
No drink, thanks.
What are you into? Being hit?
It's not
What
him.
you fucking think? What the fuck? Do you have a fucking warrant?
Who do you pay rent to?
Fucking door.
After failing to locate Duncan at any of the properties, the team kills the residents at each place. Eventually, they discover a pattern of $200,000 transfers linked to a bank in Triple Oak, Montana, which finally leads them to Duncan's true location. Not long after, Hilda calls Blute and confidently assures him that she will take care of Duncan. The team soon arrives in Montana and tracks Duncan while he is out buying another gift for Camille. On his way back home, he encounters Cindy, who pretends that her car has broken down.
Hi,
What's the problem?
I look like a mechanic.
Did you call a tow truck?
My phone's dead too.
God damn it.
Do you live far from here? Thanks for helping me out.
She tells him that help will arrive the next morning, giving her a reason to stay the night. As time passes, she begins to flirt with him and slowly draws him in.
You get the couch.
You're cute for an older guy. I said I'd never fuck anyone older than my dad.
Eventually, they become intimate. While outside, Facundo and the rest of the team prepare to launch their attack. Cindy carefully positions herself for a BJ to assist Facundo's shot, but just as the trigger is about to be pulled, Duncan senses the danger and suddenly moves, causing Cindy to be hit instead. She is badly wounded, and Duncan quickly gets off the bed and takes cover as bullets tear through the house. While Facundo continues firing, Duncan throws an axe and kills Cindy. Moments later, Hildy and Carl storm into the house but fail to find him, as he has already slipped out and located Facundo's position. Duncan kills the sniper and takes his rifle.
Facundo, what the hell is going on?
Try not to be scared. You make mistakes when you're afraid. Alexei, activate Plan B.
You'll be dead before we leave here.
I need a name. Fuck you cunts! Did you hear that? Try not to be scared.
After dealing with the entire team, Duncan searches for any clue that might explain who sent them. He finds a key to a nearby inn and decides to check it out. When he arrives, he finds their teammate Junkie Jane in a heavily drugged state. As she rambles incoherently, Duncan manages to understand that Alexei has kidnapped Camille as part of something they call Plan B. Realizing the danger, Duncan rushes back to Camille's house, only to find that she is already gone. At the same time, in his mansion, Blute learns that his entire team, including Hilda, has been killed. He is furious, while Vivian reminds him that she had warned him about underestimating Duncan and once again suggests paying him, but Blute refuses to change his decision. With no other options, Duncan seeks out his old friend Porter, a retired assassin, hoping he can provide insight into Blute's plans. After hearing everything, Porter confirms that Blute intends to kill Duncan before his retirement and believes that Camille is being held inside Blute's mansion. However, just as Duncan prepares to leave, Porter betrays him by drugging him. It turns out Porter has secretly made a deal with Blute to hand Duncan over in exchange for a reward.
Speak.
It's done.
Duncan later wakes up chained inside an underground dungeon in Blute's mansion, where Blute plans to torture him for days leading up to his 50th birthday. During the torture, Blute shows him pictures of Camille to break him mentally, while she is kept in a drugged and confused state under Jane's watch. On the third day of torture, Blute continues stabbing Duncan with his thin knife, but the blade suddenly breaks when it hits a metal fragment inside Duncan's body. Enraged, Blute lashes out, slashing Duncan's face and stabbing him in the left eye before leaving him there, covered in blood. During the night, Duncan manages to use the broken piece of the knife to slowly unlock his chains. By morning, when the guards enter the room, he catches them off guard and kills them. As Blute arrives, Duncan cuts the power, using the darkness to his advantage as he moves through the mansion and takes down multiple guards one by one. Blute manages to escape, but Duncan fights his way out of the dungeon, killing anyone who stands in his path. Severely wounded, Duncan goes to see Jasmine, a trusted friend who deals in weapons. She treats his injuries, helps him recover, and provides him with advanced weapons. Once he is ready, Duncan calls Vivian and offers to trade himself in exchange for Camille. She agrees to the deal, but secretly plans with Blute to betray him once again. Duncan then heads to an abandoned warehouse, where he sets up a heavy machine gun and calls Vivian again. He arranges to meet at a train station the next morning, but this time he does not hide his signal, allowing Vivian to track his location. She arrives with Alexei and a group of armed men, believing they have him surrounded.
Time to die, Herr Black Kaiser. Nowhere to run this time.
Duncan gives Vivian one last chance to walk away, but she refuses, confident that he cannot escape. As they prepare to shoot him, Duncan raises his hands and activates his hidden, remotely controlled machine gun, which immediately wipes out all of Blute's men. He chooses to spare the badly injured Vivian and leaves to finish things himself. After seeing the massacre through a surveillance feed, Blute becomes terrified and orders the remaining guards in his mansion to tighten security. However, when Duncan finally arrives, the guards choose to run rather than face him. With no one left willing to stand in his way, Duncan walks through the mansion without resistance.
Oh dear.
Excuse us. It's upstairs. Go, move.
Hello there. Is Mr. Blute expecting you, sir?
Blute, growing desperate, calls for someone to bring Camille to him, but before anything can happen, Duncan reaches his room. Without hesitation, Duncan swings his axe and decapitates him, ending his plan once and for all. Duncan then finds Camille and takes her back to Montana, where he helps her recover inside her cabin. While looking around her room, he notices several newspaper clippings about a family that was brutally murdered years ago. As he studies them, he realizes with shock that it was a mission he carried out himself, based on false information. That mistake has haunted him ever since. He then understands that the only survivor of that incident was a young girl, who is now Camille. Over the years, he had been sending her money anonymously, but he never knew she had tracked him down by following those payments. Suddenly, Camille appears behind him, holding a gun and pointing it at him. She tells him that all she can see is the man who destroyed her life. Duncan apologizes and admits that the mission went wrong. He tells her that she has every reason to hate him and encourages her to pull the trigger if it will bring her peace. Camille, shaking with emotion, finally pulls the trigger, but the shot does not hit Duncan. Instead, she lowers the gun and asks for his help in finding out who ordered the murder of her family. Duncan agrees without hesitation, ready to help her uncover the truth. Well, that's the end of this recap. How did you like this movie? Let me know in the comments below.